Welcome to our next instalment of What to Expect When You're Selecting, and today we're in the beautiful Beacon showroom here in Toowoomba, and I'm here with Glenys. Glenys is what is your official title, Glenys? You need to tell me. It's so long.
Trade consultant and lighting consultant.
So a trade and lighting consultant, and Glenys was great. She's helped us make lots of selections for our different homes. Today she's going to give us some advice and some top tips on what to expect when you're choosing lighting for your home. The first thing, when a client comes to you and they're ready to build and they're ready to choose their lighting, what sort of information do they need to bring so that you can help them make their selections?
Well, usually one of the when it comes to lighting, you're usually a little bit further down the track. So it's really good if you've got your kitchen cupboards and all your colours for your kitchen all decided. Your floors too, especially from a design perspective. Your flooring is like your black backdrop, and then you've got your cabinetry, and then your lighting becomes what makes it come alive. So the lighting is really the thing you do last. So once you've done your cabinetry, once you've done your flooring, once you've done your tiles, we want to see you. We want you in here and help select what you need. Yeah.
Do clients generally have to bring their allowances? So what the builder has allowed for them to
yeah, so
expend?
we need the plans. We need the full plans, because we don't just need a floor plan. We need to know what your ceiling heights are, where your windows are, where your doors are, how many light points you've been allocated in your contract, which is usually part of your contract, and hopefully we can make sure that we stay within that budget. We try and make sure that we work within whatever your budget you've been given, but it will depend on how you want the house to look and how we're working it from there. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're here in the downlight area, and a lot of people find it difficult to decide whether they would like cool lighting in their home or warm lighting in their home. Are you able to have a mixture of both? Is there a general rule with that?
There is general recommendations. So the recommendations is that warm white is a relaxation light, so you would have it in your living areas, your hallways, your bedrooms. Cool white is a working light, so you would have that in your kitchens, your bathroom, not your bathrooms, your laundries and your studies, those sort of areas. But in saying that, it really is personal preference. And it does all, this is why you need to have your flooring and your cabinetry done. That can have a real effect on how your colours look. So a warm white can pull yellows and oranges out of a base colour and make them look more yellow than they actually are. A cool white can also make things look really, really, it's called cool because it can make things feel really cold. So it depends on, for example, if you have wooden floors with white cabinetry, you can put cool white in that because the wooden floors have got those warm tones in it and it's not going to give that cool feel to it. Whereas if you've got grey tiles, white tiles and white cabinetry and white thing, you put cool white on that, it's going to look like a hospital. So it's really all about your personal preference. You can change up your lighting, but not in the same areas. And this is where it becomes a little bit difficult when the open plan areas we have, because within an open plan area you would have a dining room that might be used for a study area. You've got a kitchen bench that would also be used as a work area, but you've also got your lounge room where you might be watching TV. So then it might mean a mix of lighting, a mix of overhead lighting as well as lamp lighting, depending on what you're doing. So I try and walk you through that process and figure out how you're going to use each room and what you want. So it's all about what you expect to get from your lighting. So that's the important thing.
Now, if you're going downlights in an area, is there a general rule when it comes to how many downlights you put in a space? Can you have too many? Can you have too little? Well, obviously you can have too little, but what's the general rule with that?
It depends on the downlight. So the different downlights will have different what we call light beams. So your standard flush downlight, which is just like one of these, which has a frosted diffuser on it, the light from that downlight just leaves the downlight right from up top. So this is where your ceiling heights come into it. If you've got 3 or 4 metre high ceilings and you put those type of downlights, your light's just going to be all up the top. You're not going to get much light down here. So we have other downlights like these that have like a lens in them, and that focuses the downlight further. So you don't lose your light up there, it puts it down. So that can also be about practicality and where you want, like on your bench top or a study desk, where you want the light. Issue is, how ACD are you? Do you want them all to look the same when you look up?
Yes.
You know, they're the choices you make, you know, and the differences. When you're in a different room, it might not matter.
Yep.
But some people want, like 2, 4, 6 and want them all to line up. Great. But what sort of light do you want down here? I'll help you work that out.
And it can really change the feel of your room to the different lighting that you use. Yeah.
Definitely.
So we've done down lights,
Yep.
but we're going to go to my favourite part of the showroom, and that's the pendants. They are so stunning. And we're going to get your advice on how to place pendants in rooms and just general tips on choosing those.
Yeah?
So this is my favourite part of the whole showroom, and I know when I made my selections, this is the sort of thing I wanted to select.
Yeah.
And I think I let Carl take care of the down lighting and where that went. Feature lights, is there a general rule with how many feature lights you put in a room and how you tie them together throughout your whole house as well?
Well, we have a number of light ranges that have a number of different sizes. So if you wanted to do a whole series of lighting that set a story all the way through your house, you could do that. The limitations on your space is what determines what you can and can't do. So if you've only got 2,400 high ceilings, for example, you can't have something that's 500 high because people are going to bang their heads on it. So we walk through all that. Having an idea of the kind of feel that you want and the kind of, like walking down a hallway into an area where there is a big pendant, that might be something you want to do, a grand reveal type of thing. So it just depends on how you want to do it. As for how many pendants and that sort of thing, generally it's a rule of 1 per room unless you're over a island bench. But then you have to think about how much light you're going to get out of that pendant. So if you've got a transparent pendant that's only got 1 globe and you've got a 5 metre by 5 metre room, that's not going to be enough light. So they're the sort of things we look at and work with you and try and work out what's best for you. So, yeah.
Now, I always had in my head the old design rule of odd numbers. So when I went to design, the lights and everything that went in our kitchen, I was very adamant about the 3 lights to go over our island bench. Is that still the case, or has that sort of been thrown out and there are different rules and you can ad-lib a bit and make up how many lights you'd like?
I think the market nowadays and design trends nowadays, like your clothing, is there's no set, an absolute fast rule that you have to follow. There are recommendations and there are guidelines and there are traditions. But really it comes down to personal preference and your space. For example, if you've got a 2.4 or 2.2 metre long bench and you want to put 400 wide pendants on them, you're not going to fit 3 comfortably with enough space beside them. You're only going to fit 2. So it really depends on what you choose, what your space is. From a design perspective, yes, they do recommend that odd numbers do look better, but it also depends on what you're choosing and what you want, how you want it to look. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Now, we're here in front of the pendants that you helped us choose for our home. And this is where we come into the other tricky thing, because I love these pendants, but when I turn them on, and Reggie, you're amazing, this is our apprentice, but I see Reggie's fingerprints on all of those
You didn't use the
tubes.
gloves.
He didn't use the gloves. I think they found the gloves at the end of setting them all up.
Because you do have to put them in one by one.
Yeah, you do have to put every little glass tube in. So, do you have products, or do you have suggestions on how to clean glass pendants and bring them up to that really shiny, clean look?
Well, you could take them apart and take each one and clean them up. You could.
I don't want to do that.
We do have a product. It's a chandelier cleaner. So it's a spray-on product. So we must encourage you that you must turn off the power. So you turn off the power, you put a towel underneath it, and you really soak it till it's absolutely dripping off it. You leave it overnight and it's clean the next day. So that is the quickest and easiest way to do it.
Yep.
You've got other pendants that are a glass ball.
Yes.
So if you've got single glass shades, what we do in the showroom to make ours look sparkling is we wash them in hot soapy water, rinse them in hot water, and then polish them dry with paper towels. You don't need any other cleaner than that. Works perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I will be trying that. Yep. Or I might be getting Carl on the job. We'll see how we go.
The tip is, if you're there when the lights are being installed, you can say to them, there's gloves in the box, can you please wear gloves, all that sort of stuff. So sometimes if you need to be there when they're installing them, you can keep an eye on them, they can double check them. I'm sure they're not going to mind too much that the owner's standing there going, yep,
And it's definitely easier to clean them when they're not up as opposed to when they're already hung up 2 metres up. So definitely.
So, I mean, you could even, and I've done it with this one, and that is a damp paper towel. If you don't want to do the whole, you can run it over and that should clean them up a bit. But yeah, preferably you use the whole crystal cleaner over it. So yeah.
Excellent. I will grab some.
It's a lot easier than you think.
So before we do finish up today, do you have one sort of final top tip that you would give someone who's making their lighting selection to consider before they come in or when they come to make their selections?
Look, any sort of research that you do for style, using Pinterest, using Instagram, any of that sort of thing, if you come in with pictures and ideas and things that you like, remembering not to focus too much on the individual things, because sometimes you can bring pictures of individual things that you like, is remembering to stand back and look at the big picture and think of the feel that you want for your house. So when you're picking your inspiration, think about how you want your home to feel, because that's the effect that lighting has on it.
And Glenys, with your design background, you're able to help someone pull that all together, their ideas and their concepts. And
Thanks.
you were wonderful when we made our selection, so thank you very much. And thank you
I
for
do
your time
enjoy
today.
it. I love it. I love helping people. When they come in, they're often quite frazzled. They've done the tiles, they've done the kitchen, they've picked 2,500 taps and door handles and everything. So by the time they come here, I like to say, okay, this is what you need. Pick what you want.
Yeah.
And we do it that way.
And what better place? It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Thank you very much.
Thank
for your
you.
help. Oh, I was going to say, I can't do that.